All right, welcome to another video. This is going to be a troubleshooting video. I couldn't get the Docker container to build because of like a permissions thing. So I followed some instructions I found online, Googling for the error message I found. But that did not solve the problem. So we're gonna devote some more time now to getting this to work. Okay, so I did get Docker to install just fine. I also have Python on here. I don't have Python version 3.7 that they have in the Docker file, but that's okay. That's just going to be the version used for the image. It doesn't have to do with what I used to develop the image, as far as I understand. So, okay, so once I'm in here, and hopefully it saves all my settings. I think it does. Yep, it saved everything. Perfect. Okay, so let's start off with that command, docker build dash t. Before we do that though, let's go into the uh, directory or the folder where I want this to be built, which is this Python for DevOps folder. And now we'll do docker build dash t hello world docker. Oh, and I forgot the dot again. It's kind of hard to see. There's a dot here. That means I want to build it in this folder where I am right now. So it looks like we got 7 steps here. On the 5th step, um, we had trouble with this pip install. So I think what might be happening is we don't have a virtual environment. So I'm gonna create one and activate it. Nope, so that wasn't it. Yeah, I thought because it was running this pip install -r requirements.txt Um, it would require a virtual environment to do that. But I have a virtual environment right now and it's still not working. So let's um, spend some time Googling for this message. That's address already in use, so I don't think that's the problem. Oh, perfect. This is exactly, yeah, what I'm dealing with here. Okay, so yeah. Let's try this. We're gonna uninstall. Oh, it looks like I may have two kinds. Yeah, so it looks like I okay. We're gonna follow these instructions and see if that solves the issue. Yeah, I wasn't sure what that snap was, but it looks like that's the wrong thing to do. I need to install it using apt after I update it. Okay, so I'm not sure how long this is going to take. I'm gonna. Oh, okay, good, perfect. Okay, don't have that one installed. That's good. And I'll enable it to start at startup. I'm going to be using this VM for Docker stuff mainly as part of this example in the book, so I do want that to start up automatically. Now, I already did this, but we'll do it again just to be extra sure. Maybe it'll even, yep, already exists, so we'll do the other one. There we go. And now we'll do a restart, so it's going to be sudo shutdown -r now. That's cool. It looks like it's downloading them all as part of a thread, so you can see the fourth one or the third one. They didn't complete in order because they didn't have to wait for each other to complete before they started. Oh, all right. So yeah, we're working here. We've got yep, things a lot better. Uh, Perfect. So let's do a Docker images. Hello. We can auto complete that. There we go. And now we've got the image, just like they've got with a repository tag, image ID, um, everything like that, created size. So we've got our hello world Docker. All right, I figured it out. So just to be clear, the problem I was having was my installation of Docker. I didn't install it correctly. I used something called Snap that I've never really used before, but I needed to use apt and install it uh, using that way. So I recommend if you're watching this and you don't want to fall into the same trap that I fell into, just go to like the Docker docs, or just say like install Docker Ubuntu, yeah, like that, and then find like yeah, so docs.docker.com. There you go, and follow like this official guide here. So remove the old versions, um, update your repository, and then even yeah. So I haven't followed any of these guides either, which might come up and kind of make things hard on me later. But yeah, that's what I would recommend anyone who's following along and doesn't want to go into the same trap that I ended up in. Follow a installation guide document from the Docker site. All right, so to run the Docker image as a Docker container, use the Docker run command. That will be what we do next. We try to get all of the text showing up. Okay. Excellent. So now we've got this ID here. This is uh, basically like, kind of like a name for the Docker container as it's running. So a few notes about the Docker run command. We see we've got a different ID than they've got there. The dash dash rm argument tells the Docker server to remove this container once it stops running. This is useful to prevent old containers from clogging the local system. But you might, I mean, if you're saving stuff to the container and stuff, you probably wouldn't want to include that on there because you wouldn't want your files on that container to be blown away. The dash D argument tells the Docker server to run this container in the background. The dash V argument specifies the current directory, pwd, is mapped to the dash slash app directory inside the Docker container. This is essential for the local development workflow we want to achieve because it enables us to edit the application files locally and have them be auto reloaded by the Flask development server running inside the container. The dash p 5000 colon 5000 argument maps the first port 5000 locally to the second port 5000 inside the container. To list running containers, run docker ps and note the container ID because it will be used in other Docker commands. So container ID was given given to us here, I believe. I think that's the container ID, but I can double check by doing Docker PS. And yeah, so it looks like this is part of the container ID. We can see the up to here, this part matches here. So this is more than just the container ID. It's got some extra characters. I'm not sure what that are, but the first few numbers of characters up to this first nine here, including this first nine, uh, comprise the container ID. To inspect the logs for a given container, run docker logs and specify the container name or ID. Okay, so we're doing it by ID. Now that can be a little bit tricky. You don't remember what that ID is. It's just a bunch of unclear random characters. So you can also do it by the name of the container. We named it Hello World Docker. Oh, oh, well, never mind then. Okay, let's do another Docker PS. Ah, so that's the image. So it looks like the name of the container is actually this. So maybe there's a way to change the name of the container so that it's a bit easier to remember than just a random string like that. But it looks like we got similar things that they got. Hit the endpoint URL with curl to verify that the application works. Because port 5000 of the application running inside the Docker container was mapped to port 5000 on the local machine with the -p command line flag, you can use the local IP address 127.0.0.1 with port 5000 as the endpoint for the application. There we go. So we got hello world from a Docker container printing out, and that's exactly what they got as well. Now modify the code in app.py with your favorite editor. Change the greeting text to hello, comma world from a Docker container with modified code. Save app.py and notice lines similar to these in the Docker container log. So my favorite editor, I think, is Visual Studio. I don't have that installed right now, though, but I mean, I can. But for now, I'm just going to use Y. This is a quick change, and I'm not doing any sort of version control or anything complicated. So we'll just stick to this. We go. Save app.py and notice lines similar to those in the Docker container logs. So we'll see in the logs that it's detected a change. So let's look at that. There we go. So we detected a change, so it reloads the file, restarted it behind the scenes, and now if we do that curl, we'll get the extra text that we added. This shows that the Flash development server running inside the container has detected a change in app.py and has reloaded the application. Hitting the application endpoint with curl will show the modified greeting. There we go. To stop a container, run docker stop or docker kill and specify the container ID as the argument. So let's try it with docker stop as they have on there, as opposed to docker kill. And we'll need the container ID. There we go. To delete a Docker image from local disk, run docker rmi. Now this is interesting because we're deleting a image instead of a container. So as we've read before, there are two kind of main things in Docker. There are images and there are containers. So we had to use our container ID to stop the container, to look at the logs in the container, and to in other ways affect the container. Now we're going to have to use the name of the image in order to delete the image. So, and when I tried to use the image name to interact with the container, it failed before because you can't do the same things to a container that you can do to an image. There we go. So we deleted the image. So now the container is gone. Actually, the container might still be there. Let's take a look at Docker PS. So yeah, we deleted the image. We also deleted the container. I wondered if maybe the image was basically just like there to install a container, and then once the container is already installed, you can delete the image, and it doesn't depend on the image anymore after it's installed. But we see that's not the case. If you delete the image, you also delete the container. Oh, actually, never mind, because I actually stopped the container. So I wonder if I can start the container again, even though I don't have the image. No such container. Yeah, and I created it so that when I stopped, it automatically removes it. So I would say right now there's inconclusive evidence to say that if you delete the image, you also delete the container. Just things are getting kind of messy for me to say that with any sort of confidence right now. The output shows the different file system layers comprising a Docker image. When the image is removed, the layers are deleted as well. Consult the Docker storage drivers documentation for more details on how Docker uses file system layers to build its images. All right, next part is pushing Docker images to a Docker registry. Once you have a Docker image built locally, you can publish it to what is called a Docker registry. There are several public registries to choose from. And for this example, we will use Docker Hub. For the purpose of these registries, the purpose of these registries is to allow people and organizations to share pre-built Docker images that can be reused across different machines and operating systems. First, create a free account on Docker Hub and then create a repository, either public or private. We created a private repository called Flask Hello World under our Grig Hio Docker Hub account. Okay, so let's start there. We're going to create a Docker Hub account. I probably already have one. Yeah, I already have one. Okay, perfect. Then at the command line, run docker login and specify the email and password for your account. At this point, you can interact with Docker Hub via the Docker client. Before showing you how to publish your locally built Docker image to Docker Hub, we want to point out that best practice is to tag your image with a unique tag. If you don't tag it specifically, the image will be tagged as latest by default. Pushing a new image version with no tag will move the latest tag to the newest image version. When using a Docker image, if you do not specify the exact tag you need, you will get the latest version of the image, which might contain modifications and updates that might break your dependencies. As always, the principle of least surprise should apply. You should use tags both when pushing images to a registry and when referring to images in a Docker file. That being said, you can also tag your desired version of the image as the latest so that people who are interested in the latest and greatest can use it without specifying a tag. When building the Docker image in the previous section, it was automatically tagged as latest, and the repository was set to the name of the image, signifying that the image is local. Okay, so we deleted the image. Yeah, we don't have that anymore because we followed the instructions and deleted it. So um, to tag a Docker image, run docker tag. Now you can see both tags for the hello world Docker image. Uh, Before you can publish the hello world Docker image to Docker Hub, you also need to tag it with the Docker Hub repository name, which contains your username and your organization name. In our case, this repository is Grig Heo Hello World Docker. Okay, so let's go back. We're gonna add a bookmark here. Then we're gonna go back and recreate the Docker container. So it'll be the um, Docker build command -t hello world docker dot. Okay, and then we'll take a look at the image we just created. Uh, oh, forgot an S. There you go. So now we'll run the Docker image, I think. Let's see what they're doing. Do they have it running or? Looks like they're just tagging it. Yeah, so I guess we don't have to run it yet. Let's just, now that we've got it created, let's tag it as version 1. Okay, and it's unfortunately running off the page here. Um, oh, I named it version 1.2. Okay, so we're going to take it version 1. Perfect. Now you can see both tags for the Hello World Docker image. Docker images, hello world, Docker. Oh, so it looks like we got extra tags here. So let's try to remove. So I think it's Docker RMI, remove image, hello Docker, and now we've got to include the tags. So we're going to do v12. There we go. And then we'll do Docker images, hello. There we go. Okay, now we've only got two, just like the example. Now you can see both tags from the hello world Docker image. Before you can publish the hello world Docker image to Docker GitHub, you also need to tag it with the Docker Hub repository name, which contains your username and your organization name. In our case, this repository is, okay, so they're adding it there. So they've got 4 tags. They've got the latest tag, which I've already got. They've got the v1 tag, which I've got. And then they've got 2 more tags that I'll need to add. The first one is oh, I see. Okay, so this is the name of the repository. So you need a name of a repository. So for me, I'm using Python for DevOps for my name. I think that'll be fine. Yeah, that should be fine. All right, let's try that. Um, huh. Are they tagging it with their... See, they're saying that like you need to tag it, but they're not doing it unless this is running off the edge of the page. I can't tell. Are they adding a second tag on there? If you follow along, you should now be able to see your Docker image published with both tags in the Docker Hub repository you created under your account. Okay. Oh, yeah. So I got to create a repository under my account first. Okay. So we can push a new image to this repository using, so we got to give it a name. We'll say Docker hello world. And then here's the instructions. Public, yep, so we'll create it. Looks good. And then pull up like Notepad++, so we can Docker up those commands. Doctor up those commands. So okay, so then here's the other command. So local image tag name, new repo tag name. So yeah, so these are 2 parts to this command. We've got, here's the local image with the tag name, and then the remote with the tag name. So the remote is going to be here. Tag name, we'll use latest. Yep. Use that here. And then the local image, let's see what they're doing. Okay, so they're actually doing 2 pushes. They're pushing up the latest and version 1. So let's do the same thing. Perfect. Oh, and I can't. I mean, I thought you could share the clipboard. I mean, clipboard transfer is not disabled. Yeah, I don't know. What if I do like a control C and then a nope. All right, well, I'll just type it out. And I'll be able to tab out a lot of things. And I'll do the both of the push commands after doing both of the take commands. Okay, so I think the reason it's denied is because I need to enter my public key. So for this VM, so let's do that. Uh, oh, here we go. Yeah, so we'll do dash B 2048 dash T RSA. We don't need a password. Go. All right. Oh, so I'll have to use the browser in here because I can't. I'll need to. Um, yeah, I'll need to add it. So it's probably going to be under my profile, account settings, and then uh, default privacy maybe, or security. Probably security. Yeah, access tokens. We'll say test token. Okay. Oh, okay. So we got instructions right here. So yeah, okay, cool. We won't even need to use the browser here. This is kind of a lot, but it's not too bad. Okay, so let's type in this. And obviously, don't put this in public on YouTube where anyone can see this. This is private access information. I am just using this temporarily for this, but if I were to create an actual new project, I would delete this access token here and create a new one. There we go, login succeeded. So now let's try the pushes. And I've got this in my history, so I'll save myself some time here. So it's going to be command number 34, I think. So that's the tag. So yeah, I just need to do the pushes. So 36 and 38 should be fine. Perfect. Now we're pushing. We're pushing actual data there because we're authenticated because I created that access token that I will not be using for any real project since it's out here in the public. But I think it's be useful anyone watching this to see kind of how I think about this because for somebody who's just following along with this book and doesn't have kind of the same kind of experience I have with this sort of stuff, I think this would be like an end game. Like you wouldn't figure out that you needed to authenticate by toggling stuff in your profile, and it would have just been a giant headache. So hopefully this helps somebody else to see that. And kind of how my first instinct in seeing that was like, oh, I'm not authenticated somewhere. All right, so let's do 37. All right. Oops, it looks like 30. Yeah, I wanted to do 38, not 37. 38 is version 1, and we can see that right here. Okay, so everything seemed to go fine. Let's check the repo. So we've got one repo here. And here we go. We've got our tags and scans. We've got our latest, and we've got our version 1 pulled just a minute ago. So here it is. Yeah, okay, so that was easy. That was easy, easy, easy. All right, yeah, not too bad at all. Publish both image tags to Docker Hub with Docker Push. Did that. If you followed along, you should now be able to see your Docker image published with both tags to the Docker repository you created under your account. And we see that here. All right, so I'm good to move on. Next section is running a Docker container with the same image on a different host. Now that the Docker image is published to Docker Hub, we're ready to show off the portability of Docker by running a container based on the published image on a different host. The scenario considered here is that of collaborating with a colleague who doesn't have Mac OS but likes to develop on a laptop running Fedora. The scenario includes checking out the application code and modifying it. Launch an EC2 instance in AWS based on the Linux 2 AMI, which is based on Red Hat CentOS / Fedora, and then install the Docker engine. Add the default user on the EC2 Linux AMI called EC2-user to the Docker group so it can run Docker client commands. Okay, so I don't think I'm gonna be doing that. You know what? I can do another VM with the yum command there. So why don't I do that? So we're gonna drop another VM. We're gonna do a CentOS. which is a Red Hat. Ubuntu is based on Debian, so these are quite a bit different. Oh, we're out of. Okay, so we'll do another one. Okay, and hopefully this will work. I can get in here and do that first yum command on here. That should be pretty seamless. Oh, I gotta do, what is it? Alt G, Control G, Alt G. Okay, and then pull this up again. Yep, and we'll see if we can do these commands once I've got a command line. I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be back shortly. Okay, I am absolutely back now. So we've got user os.boxes. I think that's the password as well. But without the .org, just os boxes. Okay, no, that's not right. Now I'll try it with the .org. Perfect. So that looks like it's right. We've got some extra messages here. Yeah, login messages. So now we should be able to do these next commands. Now I don't know about this sudo Amazon Linux extras command. Um, so yeah, I'm not sure what that's all about. I'll try it though. Oh, English US, not Canada. Turn those off. It's a VM anyways. Skip. All right, how do I get to a terminal? Uh, oh, here we go. Applications terminal. All right. So sudo yum update -y. There we go. Another app is holding the yum lock. Looks like it's doing some updates in the background that I caught it doing, or something like that, interfering with that. Oh, the pool's finally open again after the pool's been closed for like a year, longer than a year and a half, and it's finally open again. I want to go to the pool. The pool is literally just right out this window. And I kind of want to go to the pool. But right now we're waiting for this for the Yum update. Then we're going to try that Amazon Linux extras command. I don't think it'll work because it's um, this example here is an EC2 instance in AWS. So this here is just a virtual machine, CentOS virtual machine. So we got about a 5-second ETA. That's perfectly fine. Oh, but that was just for one part. It looks like we got more things to download. Yeah, so I'm not sure how long this is going to take. I might want to just take a break, a kind of a longer break, and come back and then try those commands. Um, I'm really not sure how long this is going to take, and I'm pretty sure that these commands will fail anyway. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to take a little bit of an extended break, 10, 15 minutes, and then I'll be back soon. All right, I'm back and my environment is hopefully up. Oops, I mistyped there. Oh no, I didn't. I didn't. Oh my God. Wow, we're still updating. Okay. Well, all right. Well, that's interesting. Um, you know what? I think I'm just going to end the video here, and then make a new one when this is done updating. Yeah, it looks like it's got 309 things to install. Or sorry, 1,309 things to install, and uh, it's like not even halfway through now. So it's right about at the halfway mark. So yeah, I'm gonna end the video and just let that install in the background. Um, and then when I come back, we'll try these commands. So that's the end of this video. I'll see you in the next one.